UN peacekeepers fire back as the war escalates in Bosnia, this with hostages still caught in the crossfire. Operation Rescue under arrest for violating the laws against blocked access to abortion clinics. And a potential strike against AT&T threatens to put some long-distance phone calls on hold.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Brian Williams. Substituting tonight, Giselle Fernandez.
Good evening, everyone. A critical crossfire in Bosnia tops our news tonight and takes a turn in a dangerous direction. While there were no NATO airstrikes today, on the ground the fighting escalated and suddenly UN peacekeepers were engaged in deadly warfare. 2 French and 4 Serbian soldiers were killed and some 200 UN troops remain hostages tonight. Our coverage begins with NBC correspondent Jim Maceda in Sarajevo.
UN troops fought back today, retaking one of 2 observation posts on a strategic bridge in Sarajevo as violence continued to escalate. Earlier this morning, Bosnian Serb troops dressed as French peacekeepers had captured the posts, taking another 10 peacekeepers prisoner. After the firefight, Serbs held 2 French soldiers hostage in this post, while at the other end of the bridge, UN tanks faced the Serbs in a standoff. There were killed and wounded on both sides in this, the first offensive by UN troops on Bosnian Serb forces since their mandate began here 3 years ago.
But today we make war.
But some 200 UN troops have already been detained or taken hostage by Serb forces, several even chained to an ammunition dump, a bridge, and a radar site. Most UN peacekeepers have dug in, anxiously waiting for both the Serbs' next move and for some direction from UN headquarters in New York.
We're really powerless to do anything else other than to try and to contain the situation, not to inflame it, not to let it get any worse than it is already.
Serbs have retaken over 200 heavy weapons from UN collection sites, and fighting continued inside Sarajevo between the Bosnian Serbs and the mostly Muslim army. UN officials here say the international community now faces a difficult choice, either continuing with airstrikes with the risk of losing peacekeepers' lives or backing down in defeat. While the world awaits the next move here, Sarajevans say they've seen it all before. Once again, Serbs have cut off the city's water and electricity. Once again, Serbs are fully armed and apparently in control. Jim Maceda, NBC News, Sarajevo.
While the Serbs maintain control on the ground, Western diplomats are scrambling to find a way to de-escalate the crisis. But as NBC's Keith Miller reports, there seems to be no easy answer to the question, how to free the hostages.
Crisis diplomacy gripped the capitals of Western Europe today as officials called the taking of hostages an outrage.
Holding peacekeepers hostage is a violation of international principles and of all norms of civilized behavior.
NATO ambassadors met in emergency session in Brussels and ordered military commanders to find ways to support United Nations troops. NATO warplanes stationed in Italy remain on alert, but there were no orders to strike today. In France, President Jacques Chirac demanded that the United Nations get tough, or he would pull his troops out of Bosnia.